Hello, just going to give you a quick installation and operation run through of SS4 PD fill station with the sequencing valve option on top there. So once the fill station's in place, I'm going to need to floor mount it. There's 4 mounting feet bolted into the concrete or through, if you got a plywood floor, reinforce it well. Just a shot of the back. The venting back here, if there is a failure, the air pressure is blown out the back and out the bottom. So with that in mind, you want to keep it 3-4 inches off of the wall to allow for some airflow, and also give a little bit of room for a technician or if something needs to be changed in the back, that they've got room to access the panel without ideally having to unbolt it from the floor and spin it around. So panel, fill station supply here. Normally you just leave this open once it's installed. It's more for isolating the panel for a technician or other items. So that could always be left open. Your supply pressure, so that's going to show supply from either your storage or the compressor, depending on how the sequencing valve is feeding air to the fill station. Adjustable regulator, self-venting to dial up the pressure to your fill pressure. You will dial this up to whatever pressure you want to fill your cylinders to. Isolation valve here. The way that's set up is there's a safety relief valve on it. So if you're going to fill 22/16 cylinders, you're going to open this valve. That's going to put air to the safety relief valve, so you can't overfill 22/16s. Door open, door close switch, fairly obvious. And in the top panel, you have 8 gauge and valve sets, all color coded. Yellow for 22/16 and green for 4500 psi. So corresponding valve to gauge. And as you'll see when we open the door here, those positions coordinate or match a filling tube. Because I'm filming and I got one hand, I've already attached cylinders with fill lines, so we can do a quick fill demo here. So these 2 gauges and valves coordinate or match the far right tube, and so on down. Yellow fill lines match the valve, yellow and yellow gauge, and of course the green matches the green. So the green fill connector here is for 4500 psi. It's a safety fill connector. If you were to connect this fill line to a 22/16 cylinder, it will leak. So ideally you would not be able to accidentally put 4500 psi into a 22/16 cylinder if you've hooked up the correct lines, and vice versa. If you hooked up the yellow lines to a 22/16 and you have your isolation valve open to fill 22/16s, you can't fill them as well. So should be fairly firefighter safe and shouldn't be any issues there. Fill lines come with a bleed screw to drain the line after fill. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to quickly demo a 22/16 fill. So we've put the bottles in, we've connected all the lines, we've opened all the cylinder valves, we've closed the bleed screws. I'm going to close the door. So we're going to open the isolation valve. We're going to dial up the regulator. So 2300 or so, there we go. The safety relief valve on the isolation valve is set for 2450, so you can go a little high. Then we simply just open the corresponding valve and the cylinder will fill. Now, I don't have the cylinder valves open, that's why they've filled so quick. There is restrictors built in that will slow your fills down so they don't get too hot, but you will still want to control it a little bit with the valve. If you need the cylinders in a hurry, of course, open the valve wider and they'll fill quicker. If you're not in a hurry and you don't want too hot of a fill, just crack them and let the cylinders fill slowly. So they've filled. You can double check the regulators maintained its setting. The 4 yellow gauges show full, so we're going to shut their valves off, open the door, and then crack the bleed screws. Let the lines drain out. Oh, sorry. Close the cylinder valve. Crack the bleed screws. Take the hoses off. Hang them on their hanger. Try and do it left-handed here. There we go. Remove the cylinders. If you're doing more 2216s, of course, just reload them and follow the procedure again. If you're going to fill to 4500, so we'll pretend we're going to do that now. We'll pretend that these are 4,500 pound cylinders, or actually, we'll just make it one 4,500 pound cylinder at this end here. 1, 2, 3, or 4 cylinders. Everything's the same except you'd open only the valve, fill valve that's corresponding. Okay, bottle's connected, bleed screw is shut, open the cylinder valve, close the door, okay, door's closed. We're going to shut the isolation valve off. We'll bypass the 2216 safety and dial up our regulator. £4,500. Okay, so then we just open, in this case, just the far left. And of course, I haven't opened the cylinder, so it fills almost instantly. So, cylinder's full. Shut the valve, open the door, bleed the line, replace the filter, or sorry, cylinder. I'll just show you while I'm filming here the sequencing valve panel on the back. So, your system set up for a 3-bank storage. We'll have, in bank 1, we'll have 3 storage cylinders. Bank 2 will have 2 storage cylinders. And bank 3 will have 1. I know it seems backwards, but it's just kind of the way the industry's done it. Bank 1 is what we call your low bank, which is your bulk air, which we'll keep drawing from until it gets down to 1,000 psi, so you maximize the use of your stored air. And then bank 2 would then top up the SCBA if they weren't completely filled from bank 1. And then if they weren't completely filled from bank 2, bank 3 would come in and just put the little bit it needs on the top. So the cascading of your storage cylinders are automatically done by these valves. They are noisy, they whine and kind of click, and that's totally normal. That's just the way that they work. As the compressor is refilling your storage, it will always keep bank 3 at a minimum of 4,500 psi before it starts filling the other 2 banks. So once bank 3 is at 4,500 psi, it will start filling bank 2. Once bank 2 is at 4,500 psi, it will start filling bank 1, and the 3 of them will fill in unison. That's just to maintain your high pressure air in bank 3. You can continue to add from bank 1 down, as I said, to 1,000, and bank 2 down to 1,000, but you will always have bank 3 available to top your cylinders off. This maximizes the use of your stored air. As I said, it also makes sure that you always have air available to top your cylinders off. You're not waiting for the compressor to fill storage up before you can fill your SCBA bottles. So actually, I'll just quickly demonstrate. Just going to shut the main valve off. I've got 1 cylinder hooked up here. Actually, I'll show the lines while I'm back here. So fill station supply, that's actually going to be from your compressor, the line that comes from your compressor. Of course, bank 1, so that's going to be connected to 3 storage cylinders. Bank 2 will be 2 storage cylinders, and bank 3, or the high bank, will be 1 storage cylinder. Once they're interconnected, make your connections here and open your cylinders. Just going to shut this one cylinder off. I've got the cap because I'm just demoing here. Okay, so I've shut the cylinder off and we'll pretend that we're filling. So I'm going to open a fill line here and we can watch the sequencing valves go to work. So we're just taking the air from bank 1. Let's dial the regulator down. There we go. So bank 1, bank 2's not coming down yet because of the regulator setting at 2000, so it'll take from bank 1, now it switches to bank 2, and then it's topping up from bank 3. Now, of course, this happened very quickly because there's only air in that fitting. So the drain is very quick. It won't be the same when you have storage cylinders, but just want to show how the system's working. So I guess that's about it. If you've filled before, this is nothing new. It's just hooking hoses up to bottles. You just got a fancier machine to do it with. Again, there is a paper manual that comes with the machine. Our contact info is on the compressor and on the opposite side of this machine. You can always give us a call and go through it. Again, thank you very much.